most of the examples so far were just software, but one might add that hardware plays a key role here. The fact that we have personal computers now has dramatically changed the landscape for social media. And of course, portable phones and later smartphones, tablets, and in many parts of the world it's radio and crank radios that don't even require batteries. All of these things are tools that are allowing people to communicate directly with one another. Good question. What about ham radio? One thing I'm not going to be able to do today, I'm afraid, because of time, is to do a history, a journey through history. I'll be able to, I'm going to do it sometime during the semester if we don't get to it today. But just as a teaser, many people have argued that the telegraph of 19th century was, like Tom Standage's book calls it, the Victorian Internet. And he argues, along with others, that that telegraph had many aspects of social media. The telegraph operators would share news about marriages and babies and other social things. There was spam, there was message forwarding, there were equivalents of discussion lists. Many of the things that we think of as aspects of the new social media were very present a century and a half ago with telegraph. Virtual reality is a kind of social media. In fact, now that we have things like, at the NCSA right on campus, there's the cave which can link to other caves, and one can interact with your hologram can interact with someone else's hologram. With all of this, I think we have to, the issue of scale comes in it again and again. A recent estimate said that Google's processing 24 petabytes per day. This is equal to, in 2 days, is equal to the entire corpus of writing in all languages up to the year 2003. So the scale, just the amount of text and images and other data that's being transmitted has just gone up tremendously. And this relates to what is called Metcalfe's law. Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Moore's law, which was the idea that every 2 years or every 18 months, processing speed would double. And we've been following that law for 30-something years. Bob Metcalfe had a different kind of law, which had to do with telecommunications networks. But he said the value of the network was proportional to the square of the number of compatible devices. So, for example, if you have one telephone, it's not worth much because you can't call anyone. But if there's 2 telephones in the world, there's a value to it. If you have 3 telephones, that's more than just, it's not just another 50% more valuable, it's 4 times as valuable. Or I guess if you 9 compared to 4. I mean, the value of the network, of a network of hardware, goes up by the square of the number of devices. People have since extended Metcalfe's law to talk about social media, to talk about the number of people. This is why Facebook, when it goes to 1 billion users, suddenly, without any real product, without any revenue stream, or much of a revenue stream, ends up being one of the most valuable companies in the world at its IPO. Another important point to think about is about relationships between the way that media connect people. We're all used to broadcast medium, in which you have a single source that sends information out to large numbers of people. I mean, think about something like the Super Bowl being broadcast to millions of people, or the inauguration going to millions of people around the world. That's a sort of one-to-many kind of broadcasting relationship. But you can also have many-to-one kinds of relationships. For example, the White House petitions that I just mentioned operate in a sort of many-to-one. And then there are many-to-many relationships, which we see in much of the social media. There's some terms that we're going to talk about through the course that will come up at different times. Already talking about technology and social media. We're going to need to get into some issues of things like technical issues of networks like gateways, bandwidth, client-server architectures. Definitely need to talk about access and about what it means to have peer networks and what's Yakai Benkler has called commons-based peer production.